Batman is a character that seemed to be falling more and more into the darkness as he became popular with the general audience. In the comic he started as a killer, but due to censoring he became a family-friendly crime fighter, but later was brought back to his darker root by Frank Miller. For the general public who get to know him outside the comic, it's a bit different. He became popular as a family-friendly, goofy superhero on television, but was later portrayed as a darker, gothic-like hero in the Tim Burton movie. Both adaptations made the character popularity skyrocket, spawning game and sequels. But the darkness of the character, much like his comic counterpart, created concern surrounding the movie, and Warner Bros. Decided to nudge him back in a campier direction, which worked money-wise at first, but ultimately killed the franchise with its infamous sequel, Batman and Robin. With that said, the interest in the IP didn't fade away. The comic still worked pretty well, and with classic series and movies, he had a surefire cult following, which led to a new adaptation of the character being made, but this time, to be sure it would stick well with the general public it's trying to reach, they aimed to make a darker, more realistic Batman. Thus Batman Begins was made. The trilogy of movies went with an amazing reception and ultimately came to an end. But as we all know, it's not over for the Caped Crusader. He was brought back in an even darker take fighting Superman, and in a more realistic and darker crime thriller. Batman is a character that, as he goes on, seems to be pushed further and further back into the darkness, where a lot of people think he belongs. Which I think is arguable. I think the character can be pretty flexible as shown in Brave and the Bold, which is great. But a lot love way more the darker Batman, which is perfectly understandable. I like the dark atmosphere of Batman's world too, and I can't lie, it's one of his main appeals, so yeah. But this is where the question arises. How beneficial is this constant rise in darkness for the character? This darkness have a lot of good, allowing the character to be more realistic and touch heavier subject. But is there downside to it? I think it does. It's the cause of the Batman darkness paradox. Bruce Wayne lost his parent as a child, and this traumatic event pushed him into becoming Batman. Now he fights crime in this shithole of a city he lives in, fighting against psychopath and killer. There is an obvious, pretty understandable level of darkness coming out of the character, and this approach is, in my opinion, the way to go. I mean, he lost everything and swore to spend the rest of his life fighting crime. That's pretty dark. So it's understandable to want to do a dark interpretation of the character, like The Batman or Batman Begins and Tim Burton's version. But this appeal the character has is the cause of a specific paradox. It's not about the fact that the character is dark, but about the fact that people don't want him to grow out of the darkness. In the comic, Batman starts in the abyss, living alone, fighting crime non-stop, in his darkest place. But as the story progresses, he opens up to the world around him, become friends with Jim Gordon, he starts to love again, he becomes a father, the city becomes a city again, his suit grows from blue to grey to black, but he recently had back a bit of color to his symbol. He has a family again, his story can't be all darkness anymore. It's not a character arc that goes smoothly and without regression due to the change in writer, but he progresses and moves slowly out of the abyss into a dark, beautiful night. And this is the problem, the paradox if you will. A lot of people love the dark, you're not my father type Batman. They love that Gotham is a complete shithole and that Bruce lives in constant pain. That people die all the time and that Gotham is a place where criminals don't wear the suit from the comics. But this specific fact comes in contradiction with the natural progression of the character and limit the character in a sense. Sure, in The Batman 2, he could have a Robin and he could start to go out and be a playboy, but the character can and never will step out of the darkness. People won't like it as much because it's not dark and realistic enough. If he does, if his suits start to gain color, if the city start to be an actual city, a city of crook but a city nonetheless, if the villains start to wear comic accurate suit, and if Robin is his quipping crime fighting son, people won't like it as much. If he helped child, teenager go through the same pain he went through, but come out better, happier and more colorful and lighter than he did, people won't like it as much. It goes against the darkness they gravitate toward when it comes to the character. If the Batman 2 tackled those aspects of the character like Robin, it will still be in a way that stays in the same dark, edgy nature of the first one, which is perfectly fine for this trilogy, but doesn't solve the problem in the slightest. The Bat family can only really work if the story allows Batman to step out of the darkness. Those kids need to be shown the light. If your Nightwing and Batgirl are as dark as your Batman, you miss the point. And if your Batman doesn't change because of his family, you also miss the point. Same for the progression of the city itself. It needs to absorb light to reflect the effect Batman has on Gotham. The city needs to change and people of Gotham need to be happier even if the city stay a place that need Batman. But people want the lonely dark Batman and not the happy Bat-Dad. Look at the Dark Knight trilogy. Bruce just go further and further into the darkness one movie after the next. In the first one he become Batman. In the second one he lose the woman he love and become a fugitive. In the last one he is a broken hero that save his city one last time and get his happy ending. But he never get a chance to step out of the darkness to actually heal as a character and see that his city is healthier and that he is making a difference. He just save it one last time and move away. The story here is really good, but it's always that way. Batman can't move past the darkness because we always have to hit the reset button after 3 films. But mostly because people don't want him to. People want to see a superhero that reflects their darkest side, their pain, their loss. But if Batman heals, he isn't a reflection of that pain anymore. They don't want that. But you know what I think? Maybe he doesn't have to be this dark reflection forever. Maybe he doesn't have to be this black mirror we stare into forever. Maybe he could become the light, guiding us out of the darkness. A reflection showing us that the night doesn't last forever. A reflection showing us the strength, our strength, to overcome the darkness. The Bat family will never be adapted in live action. It contradicts the dark, edgy vibe people want with the character. But in a weird sense, it also stagnates the character in the same place we saw him in 2 batch of movies. Probably 3 batch of movies with the new trilogy coming. And that is the point, that is the problem. The Bat family is meaningful in Bruce's journey. Nightwing represents the best he could give, showing us that he can help a broken kid like he was become better. Red Hood represents his mistake, but he also gave him the ability to give a second chance. Tim Drake showed Bruce that his new family can and will change him for the better. Batgirl represents the good of Bruce's legacy, that his signal means something good, that he is not just a warning, but also a light in the darkness. I'm not talking about making him Brave the Bold or Adam West Batman, but letting him be a dark character while still letting a bit of light in his story. Making him a character like Batman the Animated Series. A dark hero in a dark city fighting monsters, but a character that don't forget that he is deep down a superhero and not just a Dark Knight. This obsession with Batman being dark is something preventing the character from exploring another side of himself, and us seeing him and his world change for the better. It's not to say that what we have isn't good, it's great, but we could see so much more. And this is the problem, most people just want to see this dark Batman fighting darker and darker enemy, and when he's done, wait for the other dark reboot. Well, you know what? For the next reboot, what I would do if I was in charge, I would show the world a Batman that got out, that healed, that moved past his pain and that made a difference. That fall in love and don't throw it away. One that raised a family that can live in the light and help him step out of the darkness. I would break him out of the paradox and let him grow. I love Batman being dark, but you know what? I think a little light in his life wouldn't hurt. Bring the family, let him have a wife and clean his city. Let him add a bit of color to his suit. Like the good old days. Now use your hammer of justice and smash the subscribe button if you enjoy. Don't forget to like and to leave a comment which Bat family member do you want to see most in live action. And check out our other videos. With that said, peace out.